In any other circumstances, this would be, really good news, and everyone would be rejoicing, and they'd be like, oh, good, thank God it's over. But obviously, you've got someone in charge in America that everyone just wants to poo on all the time, so it's not good enough, is it? Basically, political biases and public opinions of people. Trump all other moral causes. Yeah, that's where we live in, because it doesn't suit them, even though it's probably a good thing. Donald Trump's peace agreement is a betrayal of Afghanistan and its people. This cut-and-run policy will leave the country trapped in a conflict with the Taliban and fail the casualties of war. Now look, pal, when Obama said he was going to pull out of Afghanistan, everyone was well up for him. When anyone has said it, and it never happened. That was a very long time ago. Do you know that's over 10 years ago now? This conflict is coming up to 20 years. It's outlived the Vietnam War, the last silly war that went on for too long. Like, I get it, America and the UK and so forth went in, caused a lot of devastation in fighting this war, and it is kind of like abandoning the people. But you got to look at it from the other side. Look, it was either live under the iron fist of the Taliban, which they'd be fighting. I mean, would they have risen up anyway? Afghanistan's been involved in a lot of conflict for a long time. I mean, look at, there was an 8 years war in the 80s with the Soviets. Like, we need to keep our noses out of business, even if we did start it. But it's clearly an unwinnable war. 2018 was the bloodiest year in the whole conflict, during the whole conflict. 2018, 40,000 deaths. Like, it escalated in 2018. A ridiculous amount of people died. It's a mess. Now what do? Do you want to keep funding this thing, which is in excess of 8 billion, 10 billion, God knows what the cost is per year to keep this war going? Like, do you want to just to keep going? Because there's no end in sight. It's such a mess. No one knows really who they're fighting. I mean, you look at interviews with people and like soldiers who've been out there, like high-ranking soldiers, and saying, sometimes we don't know who we're fighting. It's like if there's different tribes and they have grievances with each other, and then they'll just label each other Taliban, go tell the army, and then they'll do their dirty work for them. It's a mess. The thing's a mess, and it's about time he just said, let's leave this mess. Because what good are we doing? Are we winning? Are we helping? Like, are they like? What do you want? What do you want? Do you want to keep sending our people to a foreign land that we don't belong in to continually fight this war that's never going to end? And we're paying for it. Is that what you want? Really? No. Like, good God. If Donald Trump had had his way, peace agreement in Afghanistan will be finalised in the coming days. Is sure bet the US president will claim Noyes personally credit for ending one of America's longest wars. Knowing him, he may even hail it as the deal of the century, despite having already been accorded that boastful accolade to his failed North Korea summitry. But the world, as always, should be aware of Trump-bearing gifts. What is in prospect after months of US Taliban talks is more accurately termed a troop withdrawal than a peace deal. It will deliver what candidate Trump most wants. Well, it's not calling him President Trump, candidate. That's right. You use that language. You paint it how you want. Parphone for 14,000 American troops before next year's US elections. It will not serve the interests of the Afghan people. More likely, this shoddy stitch-up will leave them trapped inside a pitiless conflict that has claimed tens of thousands of civilian lives since 2001. Tens of thousands? Hundreds of thousands. It's hundreds of thousands. Okay? Right now, it's bad as ever. July was the most lethal month for years, with about 1,500 people killed or wounded, and a chilling glimpse of worse to come emerged at the weekend, when more than 60 wedding guests were killed by a suicide bomber in Kabul. A series of attacks in Jalalabad followed on Monday. It's well known that Trump never supported the US's Afghan involvement. Yes, him and... Do you remember that march we had in London, where 1 million people didn't like it? Well, that was going into Iraq. But it was generally because of what happened in Afghanistan. That was only 3 years deep. And everyone was like, nah, that's a bad idea, isn't it? We're kind of against this. Oh, well, we know that Trump's against it, so therefore the Afghan war was a good thing because he's against it. Is that what you're trying to say? What do you want? What are you doing? What are you doing? Criticising its cost, financial, not human, and characterising it unfairly as another Obama bungle. For him, nation building, like altruism in any form, is a foreign concept. For nation building, that's the way George Bush painted it. Both wars, going, oh, we're gonna give democracy to these countries and get rid of tyranny. Well, now you're adopting. What are you doing? Well, you're adopting the rhetoric of George Bush. Yet his reckless push to leave without adequate security guarantees and a credible plan is betrayal on many fronts. There is no plan. There never was. They didn't have a plan when they went in. There's no plan to go out. There's no good plan. No good plan. In 20 years almost, they haven't come up with a good plan. So what do you want them to do? Wait until the good plan comes? There's no fucking good plan, is there? First and foremost, it betrays the painful, patient efforts of ordinary Afghans to build a more inclusive, tolerant society after decades of civil war. Listen to yourself. And external meddling, it betrays a fragile democratic process whose next stage, presidential elections next month, is jeopardized by uncertainty over US intentions, and Trump's unprincipled cut and run betrays Afghans' women's groups and civil society activists whose precious gains in terms of personal freedoms, education, healthcare and travel may be trampled in the rush for the exit. If the Taliban regain the upper hand, religious and ethnic minorities such as Shia Hazaras will suffer badly. Yes, the fact is, they would all be suffering badly. All these things, women's rights, blah, blah, blah. None of it would have happened if they hadn't have gone in there in the first place. But the fact is, we shouldn't have gone in there in the first place. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all those people that are going to suffer. But it's time to leave. It is time to go. It's time to fuck off, isn't it? This constant meddling in areas of the world where there's no business. If you want to secure your borders and make your country safe, then you look closer to home. You don't need to be flying thousands of miles away and bombing foreign lands, right? This fucking stupid. It was a stupid idea. And the best idea is to go. Just go. Just fuck off. Like, honestly, there's no better idea. Because do we want another 10 years? 20? Do you want another 20 years? Honestly. What, it's madness. It's madness. You've got to go. Just go. Just like we're done here. Like, all right, well, there's nothing they can do. It's unwinnable. You don't carry on fighting an unwinnable war because who benefits from it? Like, the abandoning of Afghanistan is a gross betrayal too. The sacrifices made by American and NATO military personnel who were told that they were fighting the good fight. It's called being a soldier. US military personnel died in Afghanistan. More than 20,000 have been wounded. 2,300, US military have died. And what the terrible price paid by UK troops, at least 450 died in support of operating enduring freedom. Many more were maimed for life. In the grand scheme of things, if you look at the number of, you're talking like around about 140,000 people dead and counting. If you look at the toll of US and British military, it is quite a fraction of the people that are dead, isn't it? I mean, let's be real about it. I'm not pissing on, I'm no way disrespecting any troops or nothing. I'm just saying. Come on. Many more. Anyway, yet this operation has neither endured nor secured freedom, and Helmand, scene of bitter fighting involving British forces, is back in insurgent hands. There you go. It's been pointless. 450 people dead because of this. It's 450 too many, isn't it? Isn't it? Well, you just want to carry on until victory. When's victory coming exactly? Because I would have thought after 2 years, I'd be like, I don't know about this, boys. This doesn't seem to be working out. I mean, I admire the determination, but wars, like, look at the Second World War. I mean, that was big. That was a big war. That was only 6 years, 5-6 years, just about. It was a big war, and that was over quite quick. In comparison, this is just some bullshit. Gallingly, the Taliban now control or contest more territory than at any point since 2001 when George Bush and Tony Blair went after Osama bin Laden. and Al-Qaeda following the 9/11 attacks. And yet here is Trump, the well-heeled Vietnam draft dodger, walking away on two good legs, looking to cash in electorally. Where is the anger, where is the fury at the cruelest, most cynical of betrayals? Okay, so what you're saying is the Taliban are winning. I think they're just going to win, aren't they? Do you not like losing? We're losing, but we can't lose. Yeah, just admit defeat. Isn't it time to just admit defeat? The outlines of the deal being discussed in Qatar are fairly clear. In return for safe passage for departing forces and a Taliban pledge not to provide safe haven for jihadist groups such as ISIS, Trump will end the US's campaign and bring its troops home. But crucial questions are up in the air. The Afghan government in Kabul, excluded from the Doha process, is expected somehow to reach a power-sharing arrangement with the Taliban. So far, neither side show any sign it is able or willing to do so, not least because of intra-Afghan political splits and mutual, deeply ingrained enmity. For the reconciliation process even to begin, there must be a nationwide ceasefire between the Afghan army and the insurgents, but the Taliban expressly reject any truce until all foreign forces have left. Their fundamental demand. Meanwhile, Al-Qaeda and the strengthening ISIS can be expected to do their brutal best to disrupt any progress. The US military intelligence agencies are by no means united in their view of Trump's bid to portray retreat as victory either. Experienced commanders such as the former US General David Petraeus doubt a divided Taliban leadership will keep its word. Hardline elements may reject a deal of any kind, so it makes sense that the US keep a residual force primarily tasked with counterterrorism, but also with supporting the Afghan government and army. A complete military exit would be even more ill-advised and risky than Obama's disengagement. Blah, blah, blah. A gradualist approach also reduces the risk that Iran, Russia, Pakistan and India, traditional players in the Great Game, will exploit the vacuum caused by precipitous US exit, thereby once more turning Afghanistan into a regional battleground and transforming a historic defeat for the West into an ongoing strategic disaster. Wars in Afghanistan do not end well. When a British army retreated from Kabul in 1842 during the First Anglo-Afghan War, it was ruthlessly annihilated at a Gandamak on the road to Jalalabad. No right-thinking person would wish General William Elphinstone's sorry fate on the departing Americans, but Trump must understand that if the US is to leave peacefully, it must do so responsibly and by stages, in a way that ensures that the hard-won... Oh, be quiet, just go already, just leave, please, just go. The more you read about it, going, oh, the Taliban, and then you've got Al-Qaeda, and you've got ISIS, and then you've got all these other regional powers who are going to exploit the power vacuum. Doesn't that just indicate to you that it's a fucking mess? When you look at Syria and look how many different factions are fighting there, aren't you just glad that we didn't get too involved and didn't just march in? Because it's a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess. And it's always going to be a mess. It was a mess before and it's a mess afterwards. It's a mess. It's a mess. Walk away from the fucking mess. Just leave it. Because we're paying for it. No one wants to pay for it no more. Just go. Just go. Just go. Let them sort it. Let the people of that nation sort it out amongst each other. Okay? And if they need a hand further down the line, give it to them. But a little bit. But just go. It's just time for this to end. I can't believe because it's Donald Trump, everyone just has a problem. This is the central thing, because it's Trump. People have a problem with it. It's like, no, we need to go. We need to go. Like, the first person who said, we're going to go, and we're actually going. Well, they're going. You know? Good. Go. This just can't go on like this. It's just a mess, honestly. It's just too much. It's too much. Leave it alone. Yeah? Let's move on. Let's build rocket ships and fly to Mars instead with that money. Let's do something good.